They're going into turn 3 now on pace lap. So.
Alright, it should be up right now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your commentator, Kyle Petrie HD, along with my co-host, Brent.
How's it going, guys?
We're here for the 1000 Bulbs 500 at Talladega Motor Speedway, or Super Speedway, my apologies for that, for, well, I don't even know the percentage they're doing.
94.
94 laps? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So 50% for today's race. We have the 42 on the pole here. He's been the winner of the last 3 races. And he is the only driver locked into the next round. And he's going to look to get some momentum for the next round.
And the green flag will wave. And we're going to be off at Talladega. The 42 is going to get a great start. Going to see what these guys could do when they're fanned out. Who's going to go with who? Are you going to lay off? Are you going to go for the move? What's going to be your motivation for today to get things done and stay out of trouble, being this is a chase race and anything can happen and mess up your chances for the championship just like that.
Very true. And as the 42 car is the only car locked into the next round, he doesn't have to worry about the big one, unlike every other driver that's behind them. If he gets involved, he's still okay. He won last weekend. He's the only driver that is safe for this round. Every other driver, this could be the break or make it to the next round race.
Yeah, it seems like the driver in second place right now, Jade, has 3,042 points, and Bobby's in first with 3,050 plus 7 playoff points for those 3 wins that all happen to be championship races. He is actually not here today, and that's going to drop him down big time being in second, because all the points are pretty close right now. I mean, everybody's within a span of 10 points just about. James is currently sitting third. He's in the 9 car right now. On the track, he's sitting fifth. He's third in points, so he's looking for a big turnaround for the day to gain some points on Bobby, who's sitting in first with a demanding lead. Anything could happen today. I don't think the 42 has much to worry about, not only points-wise, but he is into the next round. But, I mean, another dominating race for him today would prove that, he's here to make a point and he's going for the championship.
Very true. And we did forget to mention at the start of this race that the 43 car and the 9 car, from what I was understanding earlier in this little podcast, and the 88 car are all filled in by substitute drivers. So
yeah, it looks like you got Dave subbing for Daryl in the 8 car tonight, along with Brad subbing for Kyle in the 88, and as well as Zach subbing for Dylan in the 43. And the 43 seems to be looking very good early on in this race as of right now.
I don't know what the 9's doing there in the back. He went below the double yellow line, but he came right back up. But I mean, he is at the tail end of the field, and as the 88 and the 43 looked like they were going 3 wide racing there for a moment, but from the picture angle, it's like they're doing it. But as soon as you get up close, it's like, no, they're not.
Yeah, it seems like the 88 just wanted to get down there and get behind the 42, but ended up getting pushed up in the middle after the 43 went up, and the 43 gets loose. He's down on the apron. Looks like he's going to get back up, no problems. No contact. I'm not sure if there was contact, but from what I've seen, it looked like he just might have got loose. So you got the 42 still leading, and the 7 has moved up to second now. The 88 is third, and the 8 is fourth. The 9 car is going to settle back in fifth, and it looks like... Nope, the 9 car is now last. There we go. Yeah, 43 is taking that fourth position, and the 8 is going to move back to fifth at the moment.
As the 42 is still currently out front here at Talladega Super Speedway, as the 88 car is in the wall. Some contact was made there with the 7 car, and the 88 ends up holding on to it with the 8 car getting involved into it, and he fell back to last there as the 9 car moves up his position. But for that little interruption there, the 42 car has just been out front dominating. I mean, This guy's got so much momentum on his mind. I mean, I honestly do not see anyone else topping his throne today.
Yeah, Kyle, I think you're right about that. If anybody's going to be looking to make that upset today, it's going to be James. With Jade not being able to race today, James is going to have the best opportunity to gain some points and get his chance into the next round. He's currently sitting third in points, so that's who he's going to have to look for. And it looks like we have a caution.
Yeah, the caution is currently out here at Talladega Superspeedway. Looks like the NASCAR officials found some debris in turn number 4 after some contact the last lap. So this is going to be interesting. Our first set of pit stops are going to be coming up here. This could shift the race lead depending on these pit crews, as the 43 is going super wide and the 9 car and the 8 car are wrecking in the background. That's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen here. That's for sure.
Yeah, I wonder how the officials are going to handle that. These guys, should always be taking it easy on these cautions. You have to slow up. Got to pay attention to the guys in front of you. Everybody's running a different speed in a way. You just need to follow the guy in front of you and take it easy. I think that debris may have came off either the 9 or the 88. We saw they had contact just a couple laps ago before this caution came out. It did look like they all saved it. No major wrecks or no major damage or anything, but definitely I think the debris might have come off the 88 or the 9.
Mm-hmm. As here they come down pit road, the 42 is going to lead the 7, followed by the 43, the 88, 9, and the 8 in the far background there. And then the 42 is more or less going to be the first car to his pit stall. I could be wrong though, depending where these pit stalls are at currently at the moment, as we're going to ride along the 88. Some car down pit road looks like, oh wow, 88 has some just piled into the pit road wall. Hopefully his pit crew is okay there during that stop. 7 car was the first car to get some gas. It does not look like anyone's taking any tires right now at the moment, as the 7 car is the first one to leave his stall, but the 42 is going to hold on to the race lead as he leaves pit road.
Yeah, the 42 is going to win the race off of pit road. Seems like the 9 is going to get second. The 43 third. Very close race with the 7 off of pit road there. I for sure thought the 7 was going to get it there for a second. And then you're going to have the 8 sitting there in 5th, and the 8 car getting trouble going off of pit road. Must have stalled out or something. He's going to round out the back in 6th place. Definitely that 42 team showing some dominance today and showing they're not here to play. A very fast car, fast pit crew. I say he's sitting in a pole position at the moment, Kyle.
I agree with you there, Brent. Now with the 42 still sitting out front, I mean, he is the only car out there that has the win in this round, but the way I see it here at Talladega, from what I've seen in previous races, is you find your drafting partner where you can find it. Will he keep the 43 behind him? Will he maybe go to the high side here and collect the 9 and have the 9 and the 7 help him stay out front?
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of like last week. Obviously, the 42, was very dominant at Dover. He was very dominant at the Roval and the Richmond as well. But we'll go back to the Roval. You had, Brad Keselowski was currently leading at the moment, and he'd already been through that round. And it seems that, when it comes to the chase, I would say that if you're already in the next round, and you just want to add another win on when it comes down to that. And if you're already into the next round, you got nothing to lose, so you can go for it. You can make those moves that you normally wouldn't make if you want to make sure that you're going to get through this race, without any harm. And so the only one that has can do whatever he wants today without regretting it is going to be the 42. Not necessarily saying do whatever he wants, as in make really dumb moves that are going to cause everybody problems, but he can slip up and make some aggressive moves. He's not going to lose anything. So I think the 42 is going to be very aggressive today, and we're going to be talking about him a lot as this race goes on.
Very true, as there are under green flag conditions here. It looks like the 43 car came down pit road again. I think the team did not get all their lug nuts on the car, so he came down and made sure every lug nut was properly installed onto that car so he would not have a loose wheel on this run. But due to that little problem they had, that's going to cost them a lot of time, especially since we went back under green flag conditions. This 43 car is going to want to pretty much hold on for the rest of this race until the next caution does come out, as he currently sits 5th in points entering this race.
Yeah, the 88 car seems to be getting a run, trying to get that draft on the outside, going to get the side draft from him. Looks like the 7 car's trying to get up there, give him an extra push to try and get them going, but with the 3, the 3 on the bottom drafting each other, I just don't think 2 is going to be enough to make that outside work. They're going to have to get that 43 back into play here sometime and have him help them out. It looks like the 9 going to get onto the apron. He's going to spin it into the grass. I'm not sure if that's going to be a caution, being it's a 1-car spin, but they're going to come down through the tri-oval. The 43 currently on the backstretch, still way behind. It doesn't look like the caution's going to come out. They're going to continue. 42 is leading, 88 second, the 7 is third, and the 8 is fourth.
As we're currently coming out of turn number 2, the 88 car is still trying to look for the lead on the high side by side, down the back straightaway. 7 car continues to stay with the number 42, as the 8 car is going to stay with the 88. And because of the 7 car helping the 42, that's going to help the 42 cars stay out there longer. If it wasn't for the 7 car, maybe the 42 might have had a little bit of competition coming down the back straightaways. The 7 car is now looking for a peak, but I guess the 88 car is going to return the favor and stay to the bottom, be like, you didn't want to help me, so why should I help you now?
Yeah, it definitely seems like that's a lot today. I've seen, drivers, they started off side by side, and you had some guys pushing each other, and I realized that once you got a little bit farther around after those green flag pit stops, everybody realized who's got the fastest car, who's got what. Seems some of the guys we thought were going to work together are not looking to take that direction anymore today.
No, not really. But it is the playoffs. The 8 cars in the wall there. A little bit of contact there with the 42s. He did go 3 wide down the back straightaway. But as we were saying, I'm surprised. I mean, it really doesn't look like these guys really want to work with each other. It's just, I'm honestly really surprised about that. Usually at Talladega, from what we've seen from previous races, we've seen so many people help each other. We've seen the Toyota alliances during these plate races. We've seen the Chevy alliances. We've seen the Ford alliances. And it's mostly Chevys out here today. And I mean, we're not really seeing that normal alliance. It's just, if you help me, as soon as I get out front, alright, I'm dipping down, you're on your own.
Yep, and it seems that the 88 and the 7 have caught on of how dominant the 42 car is right now. And those guys are trying to work together on the outside to get around him because, as you can see, the 42 is not going to give up that bottom lane. You saw about 2 laps ago the 88 car took in the lead, and he was throwing the aggressive box on the 42. Well, now the 42 is returning that favor and say, hey, you're going to block me like that? I can do the same thing, buddy.
As the 42 is still out front, him and the 88 have both been trading positions as the 42 throws a block on the 88. And now they're going 3 wide down the back straightaway. 88 car gets a bit loose from that block and ends up bouncing into the 7. The 7 car there went into the wall, but the 7 car is able to hold on to 3rd place as the 8 car is currently not in position to really strike for that position, even if there is slight little bit of contact. I mean, it would take those cars right there to spin to gain those positions, as the 88 car is now stuck on the high side, as I would like to call the sucker hole, as the 7 car stays right behind the 42 car to keep him out front.
Yeah, it seems the 7's finally going to get that 2nd position away from the 88 car. Oh, there's contact. Looks like they just touched a little bit, and that got the 7 down the apron. A little wiggle. He gets loose. Not going to get it. He's going to keep it out the wall. It's a great save, but he's definitely going to fall back, lose a lot of time, and possibly not going to be able to catch that draft again. The 8 car coming back into the picture. He's starting to get up there now. We didn't hear much from him there for a couple laps. He fell back a little bit, but now he's back up there, and as of right now, though, you know, it's the 42 and the 88. They're the ones to watch right now. These guys are going at it, you know, really hard, aggressive racing, great racing. You know, a lot of contact, but not the kind of contact that's going to cause a disaster. And so far, this has been a phenomenal race. And I'm looking to see if the 88 can get it done here tonight, or today, I should say, because he's definitely showing to have a really strong car, almost as strong as the 42. But when that 42 is out front, he's a hard car to pass, and it makes sense being the championship leader. You know, you got all that momentum from winning 3 races in a row. He's going to try and make it 4 today, Kyle, and right now he's well on his way towards that.
Very true, Brent. I mean, hell, we don't really see it every season for a driver to, you know, go back to back with 3 wins. I mean, we've seen it a couple of times every season, you know, a driver go back to back with 2 wins, but as soon as it makes it 3 wins, it's like, okay, this is becoming a big deal. But as soon as it goes to 4 wins, it's like, wow, okay, you know, is history going to be broken during this season? I mean, the way this 42 car has been running in this playoff system so far, if he could still continue stacking up wins after Talladega and makes it 5 in a row, history is going to be made before the end of the season. That is for sure.
I agree very much on that, Kyle. And it seems the 8 took advantage of those 2 racing hard there, made the pass by himself on the outside and gained not 1 but 2 positions, and is going to take the lead from the 42. Looks like he's going to fall down the line and lead this train for a couple of laps. Maybe the 8 car can get it done today. You got Dave in the 8 car subbing for Daryl. That would be a great message to send to Daryl. You know, let him know that, you know, your subber, you know, either won the race or raced a phenomenal race for you today. You know, gained you a lot of points. So I'm sure Daryl's going to be happy to know that that 8 car is definitely on the move today.
Oh yeah, it would definitely help Daryl a lot, who entered this race 7th in points for the playoffs, as there are only 12 cars left in the playoffs. You have the 42 that won last weekend, so he will be the only car currently right now advancing to round number 3. You have the 41 car, the 9 car, the 12 car, the 43, the 7, the 8, the 31, the 1, and the 48, as I know. But a lot of these contenders could not make it out to Talladega due to weather conditions. And these were the only guys that actually attempted to come out here at Talladega to put a show on. But hopefully next weekend at Kansas Motor Speedway, they will be there to contend and hopefully gain another spot, gain some points to get to the next round, the playoffs, as the 8 cars in the wall spinning.
Yeah, seeing he got really hard contact. I'm not sure if there was contact made between 2 drivers or if he just got loose, but he did hit that wall head on hard, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be the caution, which is going to help that 43 and that 9 car out a lot, as well as 7, who ended up losing the draft after a little bit of contact earlier. But the 9 car and the 43 were way back and possibly could be danger of losing a lap when it came down to the green flag pit stops, because those guys, you know, were training up there in front, going way faster than those guys in the back with nobody to draft with. It seems like the 42 is going to win the race back to the line, and he's going to retain the first position during this caution.
As we see here, the caution is out at Talladega Superspeedway. Our latest caution was due to the 8 car that ended up spinning down the back straightaway with the 7 car, who also was involved in that. We're hearing that the 8 car had a little bit of contact from the 42 or the 88 as they were racing really hard down the back straightaway, as the 7 car gets on the brakes really hard and tries to avoid from hitting the 88 and the 42 down the back straightaway. This is our second caution of the night, as this will allow the 43 and the 9 car both to catch back up into this field and get ready for, well, another green flag run here after their pit stops. This is probably going to shuffle the field up. The last pit stop was actually for 3rd on back. The 42 was able to hold first, and the second place car, which was the 88, was able to hold on to 2nd during their last pit stop.
All right, well, while we're on these pit stops, going to have a chance to maybe talk to a driver too. Kyle, would you like to give our in-race porter a chat and see how it's going for him?
Sure. Hi, Bobby. This is Kyle from the booth. We want to know, how's your car currently doing right now, my friend?
It's doing all right. It's kind of tight. I just did a little bit of wedge adjustment, so hopefully loosen it up a bit. Kind of difficult. These guys are tight racing here.
Oh yeah, we've been seeing that down from the booth here. As a driver, being in the perspective for being the only person to win last weekend and to be the only driver to know they're safe from the big one, and knowing that they don't have to worry about this race and the next race until round number 3, does that give, your team a different sight on going into this race?
Yeah, for the most part. I'm working with the 88 trying to get him in the 43. Those are my two teammates, so I'm going to try to stick with them and try to push them up as much as I can. But so far, I've been leading most of the race, so we'll just keep trying to push and grind.
Alrighty, well, Bobby, we'd like to thank you very much. We know you're about to go green here in a couple of seconds, and we appreciate your time with the booth, and we wish you best of luck for this race, my friend.
Alright, thank you, sir.
And there's your in-race report with the number 42 car, who is currently lined up second for this restart.
Yeah, they're just about ready to drop the green flag for our third restart of the day. Everybody's going to be grouped back up, and see the green flag is going to come out. The 88 and the 42 side by side. Seems like the 88 might have got just a little bit of advantage on the restart there. 42 trying to get down, but I think he's going to get shuffled to the back. Those guys, I don't think they're going to let him in. Maybe he can squeeze in there. He squeezes in behind the 7 in front of the 9.
As we go down the back straight with the 88 car out front, the 7 car is still trying to find a way to get back inside the inside groove, but as a mistake he made through turn 1 and 2, slid up a little bit and allowed the 42 to get tucked in the line. He's going to fall back right behind the 9, and once the 9 car gets behind him, he should be able to tuck in right behind him, and there it is right there. The 7 car just tucked right in. As the 43 car is down the outside of the 7, and he's going to look to take that position away, also on the 9, but if the 7 cuts him some slack, maybe he'll be able to cut the line. And there it is, as the 8 car is still currently in the back of the field. He's probably just going to take it easy like he did the last run and wait pretty much until the guys in front of him starts making a mess and makes those moves and gets out front, as the 88 car is currently out front here at Talladega.
Yeah, the 88 car, you heard as Bobby was telling us earlier right before the green flag dropped again, he's going to try and work with the 88 and trying to get the 43 up there with him too, as those guys are all working together today. It seems to be that 42 and the 88 definitely have the most dominant cars today. But it looks like the 9 and the 7 going to drop out of line, try and get something going. But the 9 going to leave the 7 out to dry.
Very interesting right there. Very interesting. As we're currently on a onboard camera here with the 43 car to show our fans here what it's like to be behind the wheel of one of these guys and show you what's actually going on in front of you, as we see the 42 now on the outside of the 88 trying to get back out in front and take this race lead, as there was contact down the back straightaway between the 88 and the 42, and here comes the 7 car on the inside making a run, helping the 88s back out front, as the 42 car gets back down to the inside groove, as the 88 will continue on to lead here at Talladega. As the 8 car, he has fallen back a lot. I mean, he's about a good 5 seconds behind this field. So, could he be playing the safe game right now? Or did he just not get up to speed good enough on that previous restart and just...
Well, at the moment, I think he just may have lost the draft, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because these guys up here in top fires are currently battling very, very aggressively, switching positions left to right, jumping in and out of line. So if anything does happen, I think the 8 car is sitting in the right position to capitalize on that, because it's guaranteed. It's Talladega, baby. It's guaranteed to happen. The big one's coming, the trick is to pinpoint when and where it's going to happen, and that is nearly impossible to do, as it could be the beginning of the race, the middle of the race, it could happen with one to go. You never know.
Very true. We've seen it in many different occasions. Back in 2014, it was at Daytona during their Coca-Cola race. They had the big one on lap 15. Also, back in 2012, during the playoff race here, well, the chase race, when Sprint Cup was the sponsor, coming through turns 3 and 4 in the final lap, we also we gotta remember about that massive pileup where only 3 or 4 cars came to the finish line unscattered, with Matt Kenseth winning that race.
Yep, and you can also look back, you know, it's not always the big ones that can mess up your race. Back when the two-car tandem was a big thing back in 2009, I believe, is when Carl Edwards ended up in the catch fence on the last lap after Brad Keselowski gave him a spin on the tri-oval.
That's very true. We've seen different occasions where playoff drivers have their championship hopes ruined by different things. If it isn't the big one, it could just be a single car accident. If it's not a single car accident, it could be a mechanical failure. Look at Martin Truex Jr. back in 2016. He looks like he was going to be inside the final 4 until when Talladega came and he just blew up while leading the field. That could happen to one of these guys if they're on the back bumper of these guys way too long, as stage 1, I believe, is over.
Yep, looks like that's the end of stage 1. I believe the 88 car is going to win that stage, so some extra points for him. That's definitely gonna add some playoff points to his resume. Is gonna help him out through this chase. Looks like the 42 may have gotten second, the 7 third, the 9 fourth, 43 fifth, and the 8 car will round out 6th.
Very good run there for the 88 car. Like you did say, it will give them a good points today. Along with the 42, he's also, since he is in the next round, it will help him. With the 7 car finishing 3rd in that round, that's going to help him, especially since he enters this race 6 in points. And it looks like they're going to be going green flag here after that small little stage break, as here they come through the tri-oval, and they're coming to the green, and the green flag's back out here at Talladega Super Speedway as the 42 car is currently out front.
Looks like the 43 car got the good end of that stick. He had a great restart. He grabs the lead on that restart. Still up high. I wonder if he's going to drop down low. Of course he's going to want to get that bottom lane block, but he's going to stay up, committed to the 7 and the 88 car. It looks like the 42, the 8, and the 9 are all hooked up. We're all side by side right now. Oh, the 7's going to drop down. He's going to get contact, going to swipe the hood off of the 8 car. That's very unfortunate to him, as he seems to be the one getting pushed around out there a lot today and ended up a couple seconds back each lap.
As the 7 car did get loose coming out of turn number 4, he made an incredible save. As we will go on to a fan little break here. We actually have a fan currently watching the race, Train Simulator fan. He currently says hello. He does ask in the 2nd or 3rd patch, will 704 Games add Bill Elliott? I do not believe Bill Elliott will not be added in this game, but you never know. They added Dale Earnhardt Jr., and there was your fan moment of the race. Going back to the race, the number 42 is still out front with the 88 right behind him. Good teamwork going on right there with the 43 that fell back into 3rd. The 8 car, he's fallen back again. Probably playing the safe game, waiting till the big one happens. Maybe he's going to race it out right till the end of this race, and then he'll make his way back to the front, snake the win, and get into the next round of the playoffs.
That's right, Colin. Before we take things further, I'd like to give a shout out and mention our sponsors. Smoketronics, 4Gamers, by Gamers, and Textron Aviation. Without them, obviously, we know this whole thing would not be possible. It's a great racing these guys are getting to watch tonight. I hope they're putting on a show, and I hope those guys are enjoying it because they're doing it for you.
As the 43 gets loose out of turn number 4, he'll fall back to 4th place. Smart choice by the 43 car to just stay below after that incredible save there, keeping the 9 car and the 88 car from getting involved into a more serious accident coming out of turn number 4. Looks like the 88 car is going to push the 9 car. And it looks like the 9 is going to get a bit of a run here. We're going to see if the 9 car is going to go to the high side or not, bring the 88 with him. 88 looks like he was going to peak there for a moment, but no help was going to be committed there right now. And they're getting a little squiggly loose there. And there's contact through turns 3 and 4. 9 car tried to come down on the 88, but the 88 was there at the time. Looks like the 9 car is going to be able to hold on to it, but the 88 car is going to fall back a lot actually as the 43 or the 8 car comes down pit road for a green flag pit stop.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit of contact between him and the 7 car. I think he may have gotten knocked into pit road. I didn't fairly see it completely because it looked like the 8 car was sideways right before he hit pit road, and the 7 car was coming back up onto the track off the apron. So I'm thinking there might have been contact there, but it's going to be okay. The caution is out. The 42 is going to retain the lead with the 9 in second, 43 in third, the 7 car in fourth, the 88 in fifth, and the 8 car way back in eighth. If they do pit, though, being as the 8 car was spun into pits right now, would he retain the lead even though it's a caution and he's not going to have to pit since he's pitting now?
I believe the 8 car would more or less be penalized, because we have seen it in the incidents where, well, actually, there's been a few times where cars have gone down pit road where, you know, they weren't supposed
looks like
to.
The leaders are going to pit, so we're going to see how that works out for the 8 car, whether he's going to have to stay in the back, being as it was a caution, or are they going to let him have that position? And if they do, I don't see it being as a bad thing because the 8 car seems to have had nothing but bad luck since the start of this race so far. So I don't necessarily see as it being a problem as he hasn't really been a threat today. And he's going to be looking to get up there and maybe stay in front and stay out of the back so he can avoid some of the trouble he's been having today.
As the 8 car has elected to come down pit road, so it looks like he will not take the race lead here. He's going to actually come down here and he's going to take a drive-through. No, he's going to take 4 tires and some gas here. Might as well, since the team did not elect to take 4 tires there. Might as well just top the car off while they're at it, just so he has enough with the rest of the group here. And it looks like the 42 car kept the race lead out of pit road with the 9 car in second place, with the 7 car in third, the 43 in fourth, and the 88 car who fell back to 5th place. Interesting. So the field got shuffled up just a tiny bit there, but we're going to see how that affects this field during this run.
Yeah, the 42 and the 9 car had a very tight race off of pit road. They were literally wheel to wheel. The 42 won that by inches. Seems that 9 car, they have picked up their pit stops today. As the start of the race, they weren't nearly as good as they've been now. You know, they've been keeping position. They gained a position that time, I believe. I just wanted to see how these strategies are going to play out. You know, there hasn't we haven't had a green flag pit stop yet, so these guys don't even know what their car is going to do in the long run. We've gotten close, but cautions have just been cursing the track today. You know, not so many as bad cautions. Just, you know, like I said at the beginning of the race, these guys are being really aggressive. And we've got some contact between the 88 and the 8. I'm not sure what that was about. Looked intentional as he was trying to prove a point to me.
There might have been some contact on that previous run. Might have been at the start. That might have been the cause on why the 8 car fell back so much. Because, I mean, our cameras did not catch his issue on that last run. I mean, he fell back a lot as there's already contact on the restart of this race between the 7 and the 88. That's gonna jam up that whole inside groove, and that's gonna allow the 7 car and the 9 car to both get into the inside groove here. And that's gonna force the 43 car to go to the back of this group of cars since he had no help at all during that restart. As the 88 car is going to try to peek on the 9 to make something work on the high side, but I don't see that 88 car making anything work this early on a restart.
Yeah, you could tell that 88 is definitely trying to get back to his teammate currently in first. Those guys working great together today as they were 1 and 2 for the majority of the race so far today. Right now, it seems that the 7 and the 9 have picked up the most pace. Granted, besides the 42 who has just been absolutely dominant since the start. But the 7 and 9 have definitely been getting more and more aggressive. Those guys start trying to stay on the back of that 42, knowing that, that's the guy you want to be with. He has nothing to lose. He's going to, it's fast. He's going to take where he need to go. It looks like there was contact maybe, or the 43 just got a little loose. He's going to go way down on the apron and come back up. No caution. Nobody wrecked, so everybody's good. But I wonder if he's too far back, is he going to be able to keep the draft? He doesn't look too far back, but as you can see, we're way up here in the booth. You really can't tell how far apart they are when they lose that much. And if I had to say, I think he's barely hanging on to the tail end of that draft. I mean, one slip up and he's not going to be able to keep up.
Mm-hmm. As we're currently on board with the number 88 car, we would like to thank our officials for allowing us to have the cameras on these cars, along with the teams and the drivers, to allow the fans to experience this. I mean, there's not that many motorsports out there that allow you to really get a front row seat of what it's like on the racetrack. I mean, even in the grandstands, it's amazing to watch these races, but when you're actually in one of these race cars, it's so demanding, so physical on the driver. It takes a toll on them. By the end of the race, they lose about 5 pounds. It's just incredible what these races do on drivers.
Yeah, then you have to look, we come to Talladega 2 times. The first race is right after spring or right in the middle of spring where it's just warming up about 80 or 90 degrees upper Alabama at that time. And 60 degrees. It may not seem much, but just the temperature could change the entire way your car handles. So if you race earlier this year with the perfect handling car, there's not handling it was.
It looks like there was some contact there with the 7 and the 9 car coming out of turn 4. No cautions out that I'm well aware of just yet at the current moment, as they're staying green flag right now, but that's gonna hurt the 9 car a lot. He was right there with that group, and as soon as there was contact, him and the 7 just fell way back. So that's going to hurt the 9 and the 7 car in this run if no caution does come out here for this for those two.
Yeah, and that's what, those guys are more aggressive as the race went on. Finally got up to the front and stayed there for a number of laps. But it's, when it comes to contact, Talladega, the littlest contact, it doesn't matter. It's going to mess up your whole race. And if it doesn't, it's going to mess you up for a while. It's going to get you out of your groove, get you out of your rhythm. These guys, there's still a long way. We're not halfway yet. It's still a lot of racing to go. Just kind of calm down, maybe just settle down the line, draft, figure out what your car can and can't do, see where you can and can't put it, and just try not to make another mistake because it's way too early for that. I understand when we get down to 20 or less to go, these guys are going to be going all at it. We're talking about the chase here. Everything's on the line. You got to do what you got to do. But I think early on in the race, especially at a track like this where anything can happen, anybody can win, anybody can lose, I think you just need to kind of calm down, relax, realize, still a lot of racing left. Just do what you got to do and get your car to the end of the race.
Mm-hmm. And actually, as we have not really been noticing, the 8 cars in this group, and he's been running in the back a lot during this race, so I'm honestly, that 8 car has pulled some good strategy. The fact that he's waited this long to start making some moves. I mean, the stage 2 is coming down to an end as we see the 8 car here making a move. I I could see this 8 car making a threat here for this stage win before it is over, which would be great to see this 8 car get the stage win in stage number 2. It would give him a boost in points for sure.
Are the majority of this race so far, kind of a lot. That seems to give him a chance to work with him. He keeps getting the bad end of the stick for what I've been seeing. A couple of contacts, a couple of wall scrubs. He just seems to be having, an off and on day so far. But he's definitely picked the pace back up. He's getting back into his groove. I think we're going to have a good race here for the stage. I think some of these guys are going to pull some moves that you normally you're looking for come down to the chase.
Mm-hmm. As the 42 car is still out front, still having nothing to lose. The 9 car is just going through turns number 3 and 4 right now. If this race stays green, I would say for at least about another good 10 laps, or maybe more realistically, he could probably go a lap down before this race is over. The 88 car, he's just hoping for a caution. 7 car, he more or less, at this point here, my best bet in the 7's mind would maybe slow down a bit to allow this 9 car to catch up so we can work together. Or the 9 car slow down. I think the 9 car is actually in front of him. Get the 9 car to slow down a bit. Get those two to team up and, keep each other from getting a lap down. Because if the 7 car goes a lap down and then the 9 car goes a lap down, the 7 car, he's going to be in trouble for the next run, especially if no caution does come out.
Yeah, if they both go down a lap as of right now, it looks like the 7 car would be the first one to lap down. So if he does get lapped and the 9 stays on lead lap, it is going to hurt him for a little bit. But by the end of the stage, obviously he's going to get the lucky dog, be back on the lead lap. Now, if they do end up catching the 9 car as well as the 7, then I'm assuming it's going to be the 9 car is going to get the lucky dog, since technically they're both a lap down, but he'll be positioned in front of the 7. But it's like you were saying, I'd be doing my best to be communicating between me and the car in front of me if I'm that far back, and I'm going to want some help because, yeah, you're most likely not going to catch them. You're not going to gain much time on them, but you're not going to lose near as much time as you are running by yourself when you got those 3 guys up there running very close together, bumper to bumper, just drafting, getting as much speed as they can out of those cars. As of right now, the most dominant car of the race is the 42, but we've also seen the 88 and the 7. The 42, the 7, and the 88 have been the guys out front all day. And now you got the 8 and the 43 who've been kind of hanging out in the back and been trying to avoid trouble or currently sitting second and third. If I was them, I would do my best to make a move, get out there on the side. Like the 43 currently going to take that pass from the 8. I would have jumped out there with the 8 to get us both by the 42. And it seems the 8's going to get loose. May have caught some dirty air at the wrong time trying to fall back in line. He's going to lose a lot of time to those guys. Hopefully he doesn't lose the draft, or his best bet would, I wouldn't say, yeah, he's not going to be able to drop back and catch that guy, the 9 or the 7, because he's going to lose way too much time. I'm still surprised that the 9 and the 7 have not allocated to try and work together to try and gain some time up, or at least, stay ahead of the field. Because these guys are front, they're fast right now, man. They're gaining a lot of time on these guys in the back, and you just can't simply afford to go a lap down at Talladega. It's very hard to get your laps back at Talladega, and I don't see it being, it's like you said, the end of this stage could be the last caution of the race, or, it could be the first of many. But with the way it's going right now, being spread out, If they get spread out like this again after the stage is over, especially for the guys in back, if they get left behind with no cautions, your day's pretty much over and you're just riding to get a finish.
As a lot is on the line for this race. A lot of these guys that are in the playoffs are going to get a lot of points, but I mean, anything can happen next week at Kansas. I mean, these guys here could all end up having a bad race, and the guys that missed out on today's race, they could have a phenomenal race at Kansas. And it could end up like possibly tying some points, putting some tiebreakers in, and that could change one person's playoff hopes from one race to another. Like this 42 car, like we've been mentioning all day, he's got no worries. He's got no reasons why to not take that risk. The 43 and the 8, they got risks to take. They don't win and they have a bad race at Kansas. That could be playoff hopes right there gone. So if I was the 8 and the 43, I wouldn't be riding behind that 42 this amount of laps. I'd be trying to make something happen as the 8 car is looking on the outside. 43 tried to peak. They were 3 wide for a brief moment, and 42 is going to hold on to that race lead there. 8 car's trying to do something on the high side right by himself. But that 43 right behind him, I really don't see that 8 car making the move on the high side. I really don't.
Yeah, it looked like the 43 was going to make it 3 wide there for a second, but opted out and chose to stay behind the 42. The 8 car really hanging in strong on the outside by itself, taking advantage of that side draft, and it is working very well. I think it looks like the 42 and 43 are finally going to get back around him. He's got to fall in line. But that's good that he ended up hanging on to the draft. We thought he was going to fall back. He looked pretty far back there for a minute, so he got lucky, I would say, as to catch back on the draft. And he's going to continue to make moves. He's going for this stage.
As the 8 car is going to try that outside groove once again. We'll see if it can actually work on this run, as the 42 and the 43 are going to groove slightly a little higher through the corners, try to keep that 8 car from getting that side draft from working, as the 8 car is going to fall back there, as the 43 car is now going to peak. Let's see if the 8 car might go with him, maybe not. 43 is trying there, he tried, and the 42 car was just ready for it, as the 8 car on the high side now, with those two duking it out, allowing the door to open for this 8 car to make a move happen on the high side. With these laps winding down, the stage coming out, if these two mess it up, I definitely see this 8 car winning stage number 2, as the 9 car and the rest of and the 88 and the 7 are still spread it out, still trying to get something to work here, but I mean, it ain't gonna happen being this far out, as the 42 still got the 43 right behind him. It looks like the 8 car was gonna stay behind them, but he's gonna try it again on the high side. Still will not work with that 43 car staying right behind that 42. Unless those two break up, that 8 car ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. If I was the 43, as there's going to be contact, the 43 is going to get a little contact from the 42, and he is going to spin. He's in the wall. As you said, we were waiting to see who was going to mess up. Since the 43 made the mistake there, tried to duck it down where he couldn't get the nose in. So now it's going to come down to the 42 and the 8. The 8, his only chance as of right now to get this stage win, from the way I see it, is to hang back a little bit, get that draft going, and you're going to have to make the pass coming out of the turn. When you got that full-blown slingshot, top speed, as fast as you can go, use that side draft, race him down the front stretch, and edge him out by a nose to get that stage win. That's the only way I see this happening. Like he's doing right now, he's setting it up for that slingshot. It's not a bad idea to do it now, but if it was me, I'd probably wait to the last lap of the stage to do it. But it seems like that's the end of the stage, or the caution is out. Looks like that's the end of the stage.
More or less, that is the end of the stage right there, as the 42 car is the winner of stage number 2. And it looks like the 8 car is going to finish in second place, as the 88 will finish third. The 43 fell back to fourth. The 9 car finishes 5th. And the 7 car finishes 6th here in stage number 2. And that's pretty much right there. Just a little shy of halfway of this race. We still got half of this race pretty much to go. Once they go green, it'll be more or less past halfway. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to do what here on pit road. 4 tires, maybe gas only. I mean, if I was the
Well,
Niners,
that was a pretty long green flag run. I would take 4 tires and fuel right now, because that whole stage, pretty much, just about that whole stage, was a green flag, and that's good news for the 42 and those guys up front. And it's like we discussed earlier, you know, if you get falling back after the stage starts, it could be the end of your race, as green flag has been pretty good today. Looks like the green flag is going to wave again. The last stage is underway. Looks like the 42 may have spun the tires or missed a shift, because the 8 car is going to jump out and bring the 43 with him, and those two are going to retain the lead. Maybe they can finally keep that 42 back there and hold him off and lead some laps here, Kyle.
we'll have to wait and see, Brent. I mean, if they could keep that 42 car behind them, that's a big win. Because they got about 40-something laps left in this event. As we could see the 88 and the 9 and the 7 now trying to get this high side working. That's going to be interesting to see how that's going to work. I know the high side, they're going to have to form something in the closing laps of this race. But you got to find the right person to go with. And you got to be committed to it. As soon as you're committed and you got the right person you know you can work with, you could see this high side work, and you could possibly see this high side actually get the win. Or you could also see it fail. We seen it back in 2016 with Matt Kenseth. He had the high side running, looked like he was gonna more or less win the 500. Coming through turns 4, went to go make a block, got loose. Goodbye, Matt Kenseth. Photo finish between the 78 and the number 11, which allowed the 11 car to win that race. As the 9 car, he's going to fall way back. Don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I think there might have been some contact between him and the 8 car. It wasn't bad, but it was enough to get him loose. He went down the apron a little bit and got back on track, but it's like we were just talking about not even 2 laps ago. You can't afford to make those mistakes this late in the race. That could very well be the end of his race if this thing goes green. The only other chance he's going to have is pit strategy is going to play a big deal for this team today now, especially if we go green to the end of this race, because you're not going to be able to do anything by yourself. You're not catching time. You're just constantly losing time. And those guys in front of him right now, they're technically not in bad position either. They're still with the drafting distance. They could easily hook up and catch those guys up front. It looks like the 9 is just having trouble staying off the apron. It keeps hitting that yellow line and getting loose. You know, even if it's better than, you know, anything's better than wrecking. If you got to run the middle of the track, then run it. You know, it's better than wrecking, going a lap down, or causing an unnecessary caution. We've seen these guys, you know, getting slid down into the grass a lot today. Some of the, you know, saw the 8 car get shoved into pit road. A lot of guys get loose coming out of turn 2 and end up going out onto the apron and then sliding back up and get back in line. But it seems that as of right now, the 9 car is kind of in a slump today. He's just gonna have to sit there and ride and see maybe if he can get back up to these guys, and hopefully these guys will make a mistake. But what he's gonna need right now is a caution. As of right now, there's not much else he can do. He's just gonna have to hope for that caution.
As the 9 car's waiting for that mysterious caution, if it will ever come out or not. One car I know that definitely would not want to see that caution right now would be the 8 car that's currently out front here, as the 43 car retakes second place. And it looks like the 42, after he spun the tires or missed a shift, he's got himself in the third, but highest he's ever been on that restart after that restart has been second place. But he just, I guess the table has turned. I guess with this 8 car, I guess he just waited until the end of stage 2. And now that it's showtime, he's going to bring everything he has for the remaining couple of laps for this race. He knows it's go time or go home. He knows there's a playoffs in front of him, and he wants that win to get to the next round.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see that the 88 is having so much trouble here in this last stage. It's the first stage and about half the second stage. You know, he was just as dominant as the 42. Those guys were going out at 1 and 2 pretty much the first half of this race. Second half of this race now, though, not looking too pretty for the 88, the 7, and the 9 right now, as the leaders are got to be 10 plus seconds ahead, 15 even. Looks like the 7 car is going to make the move on the 88 car. He's going to go down low trying to make the pass. Maybe those guys are opting out, you know, hey, I'm better pushing, let me push you. Because it seems that they really wasn't going anywhere with the 7 behind the 88. Good thing with them being side by side right now, if they stay this way, that's going to allow the 9 car to get some ground maybe. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Seems like the 88 is going to drop in behind 7, and he's going to try to do the push. And maybe they can gain some ground on these guys. I don't see them catching them. You know, two-band car versus a 3-band car. I just don't see that possible unless these guys up there make a mistake, which is could be at any time. You know, you got to think about the unthinkable when it comes to Talladega. Anything can happen, and most of the time, like Murphy's Law, anything can and will happen. So maybe the 88 and the 7 can just hold their ground with the rat, just kind of keep on pace with those 3 in front, and hope for some kind of slip up to allow them to at least get caught back up to those guys and race with them for the last stage here.
Very true. Looks like the 42, he's just been waiting it out. I got a funny feeling the 42 has like studied what the 8's been doing during the first 2 runs. He could be waiting to wait for that 43 to make a mistake and do what the 8 did during the end of stage 2. Go right at it. Get that high side to go. But we do see the 88 and the 7 are working together. 9 car is struggling still. 8 car is still out front. Ever since that restart, he's been out front. 43 is just staying right with him. I don't see this changing anytime soon, as there's contact on the front straightaway between the 8 and the 43, and the 8 and the 43 both go around. And that's
I believe
probably going to be the caution.
Yeah, I believe the caution's going to be out for that. Not sure who's going to retain the lead there. It looks like the 42 has jumped back to the lead. Not necessarily a bad thing. All these guys have been grouped back up together. Those guys that were strong earlier that are falling behind right now are going to have their chance to get back up there. My only issue right now, Kyle, is that that 9 car, he's got to stay off the apron. That seems to be his biggest enemy today. He hasn't really been in much contact. Been a couple little flurries, but it seems that that apron is his worst nightmare today so far.
And there might have been some contact there between the 43 and the 42, as the 42 hit the wall, and the 9 car just completely hard on the brakes and completely wipes out. Going back to what you...
That's the second time we saw that under caution today.
Yes, very true. I think that 9 car might be set up a bit loose for the driver. They might want to possibly bring that wedge up a bit, do some sort of adjustment to that 9 car that is allowed, as the 42 car is going to bring the 6 car train down pit road, possibly for the final time. Now, running through these crew chiefs' minds, what are they going to do? They've only ran about 10 laps or so on that run. So, tires only have a few laps. Gas is definitely going to be in the window, but who's going to take tires? As the 42 car nails his pit box, that's the second car to nail his pit box, say. As the 43 car looks like he takes gas only and will lead this 6-car train right off of pit road. Now, here comes the 42, followed by the 7. And here comes the 8 car, along with the 88, tight run. And it looks like the 9 car is going to come out last. As the 43 car is the big winner out of that pit stop.
All right, look, I think we're gonna get our in-race reporter here. We're gonna get Bobby on the phone again here in just a second. See what his plans are for the rest of the race. We can get us a lap count and see just how many laps we got. So stand by for 1 second.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Bobby, it's Brent up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
All right, so we see there's been a lot of hectic things going on so far after the second stage. It seems like the 9 and the 88 and the 7 are having troubles back there. It seems a couple guys are having a little bit of trouble getting off the apron, but it seems like the 8, the 43, and yourself have got a good alliance going here at the moment. Is your car still strong? It seems like the 8 car picked up the pace after that last restart and led just about all those laps that time.
Yeah, the 8 and the 43 are very strong. Having a hard time keeping up, to be honest. I'm trying to save fuel. I forgot to pit on the end of stage 2 and almost ran out of gas. Coming to the end of stage 2 when I won, I had literally, it came to 0 on the trial.
I heard that, buddy. Yeah, it seems to be some great aggressive racing. We're very enjoying it up here in the broadcast booth. Just give us a quick, how many laps left there, bud?
We have 67 out of 94.
All right, so roughly 30-something laps to go. All right, bud. Well, we'll get with you after the race. Hope you have a good restart here, and we'll catch you at the end, bud.
All right, thanks, sir.
Yep, bye-bye.
With 27 laps left here in this race, they're green back at Talladega. And it looks like the 43, the leader on that restart, spun his tires as the 88 ends up getting sideways, bumps into 9, and it looks like the 88 car ends up spinning out here at Talladega Superspeedway. Question or not, will the caution come out for the 88 car, who has fallen back all the way to last after spinning out on that restart? Surprised that the 43 car spun his tires on that restart. That's going to hurt the 9 and the 8 car for sure. If that was the last caution in the remaining 26 laps of this race, that could ruin the 88's chance. Big time.
Yeah, things are definitely going to start heating up from here. You can see these guys are already trying to make aggressive moves. I don't believe it was the right call to try and go that, understandably the 43 did spin the tires on that restart, but as you can see, he's still sitting in second, so I understand that he did probably cause that problem, but I feel like it could have been avoided if these guys just would have been paying a little bit more attention. It seems like they're all focused on getting to that 42 car. It seems like everybody wants to be behind him or at least in front of him. And we saw how dominant the 8 and the 43 were just before that last caution came out. And he's going to have contact with the 88 car in them. Another bad call for the 88. He's going to be far back, nobody to work with. Like we were saying, if that was the last restart, not a good day for him. As we saw the first half of this race, he was just as dominant as the 42 and looked like to be a threat. But the second half of this race, it seems the 43 has really picked up the pace, and he's looking to maybe steal that way and steal that glory away from the 42 today.
And it looks like the train has formed on the high side, and that's going to be interesting. I mean, one thing we did forget to point out on that restart, the 43 was the leader on that restart, but he chose the outside. So I think the outside groove was also a factor in that restart, since the outside groove has not been the preferred lane on these restarts at Talladega. Depending on who your partner is, really, as the 7 car brushes the wall and loses about 4 car lengths on the 43, so that might have hurt the 7's car, depending if the 43 and the 42 here decide to get side by side or get back in line here. And it looks like they're going to go back to the bottom groove, as the 43 is going to try to make a move or just suck back in. But yeah, that high side lane for the restart is usually not the preferred groove unless you have good communication with the car on the inside groove, or you know, if the car right behind you is the perfect person to help you get that jump on second place so you can both tuck in. But it looks like that didn't help them.
Yeah, it seems like the 8 and the 9 have a good system going here. If I was a 7, I'd either fall in front of them or fall in behind them and make that 3-car tandem, and then they can easily get the speed and get up there and catch those guys in front.
There's the 88. I was wondering what was going on there. We could not view the 88 there for a few seconds. We had a few camera difficulties, but 88's going through turns number 1 and 2, and the field is down the back straightaway, so you could tell there's the big difference right there between how far back the 88 car there is coming out of turn number 2, as these guys are going through turns 3 and 4, so it's pretty much the whole back straightaway, as the 9 car, again, has issues with the apron. He just got way down there, got just wicket loose, and not allowed the 7 car to pull a bit of gappage. It hurt the 8 car. I say the 9 car allows the 8 car to go by, get the 8 car up to 7, get the 9 behind them, because the longer this 9 car is in the middle of this train, it's going to hurt them more than it is actually going to help them during this long run. It's going to allow the 42 and the 43 to pull away. So I don't know what this train's idea is going to be for these laps are closing down. It's almost 20 to go here, and the longer they take their time with this, they're not going to have a chance.
Yeah, what I would do, knowing that the 8 car has been pretty good today, I would want him to lead the train and push him, because he seems to be that they seem to be a little bit faster when the 8 car's out front. So, you know, I just don't see. I mean, we were watching it earlier with the 88 and all that. The 7 just doesn't seem to be a good leader when it comes to the draft. He seems to be better behind him, because right now they're losing still. The 42 and the 43 are pulling away, and that shouldn't be. I mean, it's possible, but you got 3 cars in line behind you. Those guys should be catching them easily. You know, it's not necessarily the fact that the 42 and the 43 have super fast cars. It's the fact that you got way more draft. You're punching a bigger hole through the air with 3 cars than you are 2. So that's allowing those guys behind you to go faster. They should be pushing the 7 all the way down the track right now with 3 cars.
As the 42 and the 43 still continue to be dominant out front, ever since that restart allowed the 42 to get back out front after the 43 checked up the whole outside groove, and it hurt the 88 car after he spun. Allowed the 7 car to found the 9 and the 8 as they had issues on that restart as well. But because of this issue, I mean, it ain't helping their case. 88 case is pretty much out the window until that next caution comes out.
And with the 42 being so dominant today, also, you know, his blocking skills have been phenomenal. I think the only chance, or not maybe the only chance, but I think the 43's best chance as of right now is to hope that those guys behind them can catch him, because he's going to need the draft to get around that 42. He's not going to let the inside line go by far at all. And by yourself, we've seen it's just not possible to get the run and complete the pass on the outside by yourself. So he's going to need some help. You know, if I was him, I would try to get beside that 42 and stay beside him and slow us both down to let those guys catch up, so I can at least have some help, because, you know, being how dominant the 42 is, how fast he is, you know, when he's in the lead, it's hard to get back by him. He makes that car 3 wide when it needs to be. Yeah, he's just got those guys have got to pick up the pace and get up there. You know, we're probably Probably got about 21, close to 20 to go here. Maybe a little bit under 20 now. I'm not sure, but can't be far off. So they definitely got to pick up the pace. They got to calm down. You know, they got to calm down. They got to let the car come to you. Is what I'm trying to say. You know, they're obviously pushing too hard. They're not able to get the draft going like they need to. Meanwhile, the 42 and the 43, you know, they're nut to butt. They're really showing some speed here with just two cars, and I just don't see why those guys behind them are having that trouble. Being as they can be way faster than those guys in front right now.
And there's issues. 9 cars around. 8 cars also into the wall. 7 car continues going on. That more or less is going to be the caution of the race. And
yep, caution is out.
That's going to change everything about this race.
But the question is, Kyle, are these guys going to be able to get the restart down this time, not get into that trouble as soon as the restart starts, get 2 trains going, or certain guys hook up together and make this work? Because it's go time. It's got to be under 20 laps to go now. You know, you can't afford to mess up anymore. This right here is I would say this. Put it this way: when you look at Call of Duty Black Ops, when you go down, you get what's called second chances of perk. This is their second chance. If they blow it this time, it is over with. And I just can't see the 43 going to miss that shift or spin the tires this time. And I'm hoping that the 9 is going to stay away from that apron, and maybe the 88 can just try as hard as possible to maybe keep the contact from him and somebody else, putting him back out of this race. As if he could get back into this thing, I potentially see him maybe blowing somebody's win here today, because he's also had a very dominant car.
As there's issues all around. Oh, wow, okay, I did not understand what just happened there. I guess there's a bit of payback there for that caution. 88 car flew right into pit road. Probably more or less a penalty is going to be issued towards the 88 car there. Maybe.
Yeah, it seemed to be going pretty quick there.
Maybe some retaliation between the 9 and the 7, or the 8 and the 7. I don't know. Looks like the 42 car is going to be the first car to bring the fuel out of pit road. Looks like he only took gas only. I guess he wanted to keep the track position, as the 9 car is the second car off of pit road. That's going to help him a lot. The 43 is followed in the 4th. 88's followed out by 3rd, but the question is the 88 going to be able to be allowed to hold on to that position?
Yeah, I would think that would be a penalty, as you're not allowed to overtake on caution. And I think the only way you can overtake is if somebody doesn't pit, or you stay out and everybody else pits. So, yeah, I definitely think he should. I don't know if I would necessarily black flag it, but he definitely should be starting at the end of the field for that move. But it seems like the officials have elected to let him stay 3rd. And the biggest loser out of that, which is not much loss at all, would have been the 43 losing 2 positions. But it may not be as bad, because, like we were talking about, how the 9 cars having trouble staying off the apron. He's going to start up high, so maybe he can get that 43 and the 8 car behind him, and they can get something going here, and maybe spoil the party for that 42 and the 88 car.
As we are officially below the 20 lap mark, maybe even less, maybe around like 15
16 to go.
16 to go. Thank you for the update. Decisions are going to be hard to make there. I mean, right now, your drafted partner is who you can find. And looks like there's a little bit of contact there between the 7 and the 8. Looks like there's a little bit of retaliation going on there, as we were on the onboard there with the 8 car. Looks like they're going to be coming to the green here with 16 to go. The 42 is going to lead them to the green. Looks like he's going to choose the inside lane, and we are green flag racing back at Talladega with 15 laps here to go. And it looks like the 42 gets a good restart, but the outside groove also has a good restart. They got a better train going on the outside groove, as the 43 tucks back into the inside group. 9 car is going to fall back along with the 7 car, and the 42 is going to try to hold out in front.
Yeah, I noticed that for a second there, I thought that was going to be a great train to witness. It seemed to be the four most dominant cars were all in a line there for a second. When I say the dominant cars, I was talking about the 42, the 88, 43, and the 8. Thought they were all going to get hooked up and maybe leave the 9 and the 7 out to dry, but it seems like 9 and 7 were actually able to drop down there. It seems like the 88 is going to go to the outside, try to get the pass, going to bring the 9 and the 7 with him. What is the 8 going to do? Is he going to go high with those guys, or is he going to stay low? Oh, it looks like he's going to go high. There's going to be contact from the 7. It's going to put the 8 in the wall, which has happened multiple times tonight. It seems that I don't see it as being intentional, but the 7 car has been having a lot of trouble when it comes to contact tonight. So definitely just if that's the last caution we see today, the 8 car is definitely probably going to have some select few words for him at the end of this race.
Very true, especially with only 14 laps to go here. That mistake was super costly on the 8 car, but it is the playoffs. You have to do what you gotta do, as the 42 car brings the group of cars onto the high side group, trying to predict the moves, and before the 9 car got to 3rd, it was 3 teammates nose to tail for a few moments, and then as soon as the 9 car got to the bottom groove, it allowed the 9 car to interfere with it, but you still have pretty much two teammates in a way, nose to tail here, going down the back straightaway, as the 9 car and the 88 are hooked up. The 7 car is only a few car lengths back from the 88. He could be waiting for the big one to happen. Right now, out of these top 4, I see the 9 car possibly slipping a little bit and causing the big one here at Talladega.
Yeah, I think, and there it is, the caution is going to come out. The 8 car, another saving grace. Thankfully, he's going to have another shot at this thing. 42, like we said, dominant all day, just hanging in there, holding on to the lead, leading the most laps by far. I don't know how this is going to play out, but it looks like the 88 and the 8 car are going to start second, third. So now, let's talk about it, Kyle. Big break for the 8 car. He's also gained some positions on that caution now. He's trying to get around the 88 car. If he can start in that second row and get that restart just right, I see a potential drag race for the race here when it comes down to the 8 car and the 42, and possibly the 43 if they can stay out of trouble. I see the 8 and the 43 possibly overtaking the 42 like we saw earlier and trying to maybe dominate the last 15 laps.
If I had been the 8 there in that position, I probably would have slowed down, let the 88 take second. He's going to have to restart possibly second, depending on pit stops too. I mean, the question is, are these guys going to come down pit road now? Or are they going to stay out and hold on to track position? It really does depend now. What are you going to do in this?
If I was the 8 car, I would stay out as it comes down now, because clearly the back end is not where you want to be on these restarts. We see that over and over and over again. You kind of want to be at least first, second, or third. Those seems to be the guys that get going good enough to fall in line with each other. And because too wide, it seems to be a little bit of a problem here on these restarts. These guys trying to jump out. We saw in that last restart, the 7 took it 3 wide pretty much as soon as the green flag dropped, and ended up falling back and getting contact. So hopefully, and the 8 car is going to stay out. The 42 is going to pit. The 88 is going to pit. The 7 and the 9, the 8 and the 43 are going to stay out. So if the 43 wins this race, the 42 wins this race off pit road, he is going to line up behind the 8 car. 43 is going to be second beside the 8 car. What would you be looking for? What would you want to do? You got the guy in first place starting beside you who has been a phenomenal drafting partner with you. through this entire race. You know, the 8 car and the 43 obviously been working together a lot, trying to get around that 42 car today. And when they finally did, and they were out front by the end of the second stage, it seemed like the 8 and the 43 were really fast. And we heard it on our in-race report just about 20 laps ago with Bobby, that he was talking about how he was struggling to keep up with the 43 and the 8 car.
In this scenario here, it's a real tough one. If the 8 car chooses the outside groove and allows the 43 to go to the inside groove, then it all depends on the 8 car if he could get that phenomenal restart. If not, that could drop him back. Or he has to look at it, do I want to go? It's in the inside groove. Take my risk. Keep the most dominant car behind me for the remaining laps.
All right. Is it just me, or are we missing something here? It seems like the 43 car is going to start in the back. And also the 9 came up and seemed a while ago, as right before they got around into 3, the 9 car came up and gave him a good swipe. I'm not sure what that was about.
Okay. Possible penalty for the 43? Who knows? Very unsure what's going on there with the 43. We'll just have to wait and find out at the end of this race, or hear an update. As here we go, green flag racing back at Talladega, and it looks like the 8 car did not get a good restart. 42 did, and the 42 gets back in the line and retakes the race lead here at Talladega. As the 9 car is still on the high side, the 88 car back to 3rd. Oh, and the 8 car's in the wall. And the 88, and there's a big wreck here at Talladega, collecting the 4 cars here. 9 cars been involved, 88, the 7. Big wreck here at Talladega.
Yeah, it's like we were saying earlier, these guys are getting aggressive and more aggressive each lap. That's proving, as these last couple of restarts have not been the best we've seen today. These guys are just trying so hard to get that position and stuff, but I don't think... Right, you know, I understand you got to be aggressive. It's go time. It's crunch time. You got to do what you got to do. But if you're constantly causing problems for the field and causing cautions, you know, just calm down a little bit and see how it goes. It looks like there's not going to be a caution, as the 42 and the 7 and the 43 are still going. They've passed the line. Could we see the 42 getting his chance, as he is really fast? He's made it back to the front with a huge run. He's going to give a push to the 42. Now the 7's going to dive it down back under the 43. Can the 42 get down there to block him? Barely gets down there. So he's got 2 cars trying to get him out the way right now. Mind you, just a little nervous, as the 7 has had a little trouble with contact today. Hopefully, since the caution did not come out, maybe this will be the rest of the race, and maybe we can see the 43 or the 7 possibly sneak by and get that elusive win and knock 42 off of his momentum.
Maybe, as the 42 is still out front. The 8 car is currently coming out of turn number 4. The 9 car is only coming out of turn number 2. And I mean, this whole field is completely shuffled. The 88 is only going through turn 1 and 2 right now. Some of the cars currently in second, 43 is in third, 42 is out front here. I mean, if the 7 car and the 43 both split up and try to go in different lanes and keep it up for the rest of this race and give troubles to the 42, I don't see the 42 holding off 2 lanes for the rest of this race. Someone's going to get beside him, and it's going to be hard for him to hold off, especially these 2 guys here that have nothing to lose. I mean,
yeah, when they went across the line in time, we came down with 6 to go. If I was, what would you be thinking right now, Kyle, if you were the 43? He's had a good car all day. He just had, a little bit of trouble early on. He's back up there. He's been with the 42 for the majority of the race. He's the only one that can really keep up with him and make the move to get around him. How does he go? Does he take the 7 around him with the outside? Does he dive down? He's going to dive down below the 7, get that position. Contact. He's going to get pushed into the pits.
Ooh.
That just ruined the race for the 43 car. If the caution does not come out, that is not good, and I'm sure there's going to be some words between these guys at the end of the race. And it's like I was telling you earlier, talk about the contact with the 7. He's had a little trouble keeping it out of other drivers today.
Mm-hmm. Well, 5 here to go at Talladega. It actually looks like the 8 car went by the 88. The 88 car is going super slow on the front. Well, he's down some speed. So, maybe possible retaliation coming up before the ending of this race. Who knows? But, like you were saying, back to the 7 car, I mean, he enters this race 6 in points. I mean, being in second, if he finishes second to this 42, I mean, it's still a good points day. But if I was the 7 car with 4 to go, I would not be waiting behind that 42 car. I'd be pouncing every inch. I'd be waiting for him to make that wrong move and get my car into the position to make the pass, so I know when I go to Kansas next week, I'm safe. As you can see, the 7 cars trying to get something to work, but the 42 car just keeps blocking everything this 7 car has. We'll have to see if the 7 car is able to just get that 42 to get a wiggle.
Yeah, coming down the tri-oval now, they're going to cross the line with 3 to go. The 42 still holding the lead strong as he has all day. Contact late here. The 43 spun into the pits. Also, the 8 car and the 88, the 9 way back, have no chance of catching these guys. With 3 to go, the 7 is stalking that 42, waiting for his move, but it's like we were talking about earlier, you know, it's hard to pass somebody here when you don't have help. Where is he going to be able to pass? Is he going to wait? Is he going to dive it down and get the nose in there at the wrong time? Is there going to be contact? Are you going to get the bump and run? Or are you going to shove him up the track? I mean, there's just so many options you could take. And my best bet, Kyle, if you're the 7 car right now, your only option really to be able to even go attempt for that pass is like we've seen the 43 do earlier. Hang back a little bit, get that draft, and slingshot by coming off of turn 4 and use that side draft to your advantage. With 2 to go, let's see how this strategy plays out here.
With 2 to go here, there is the 88 car only a few car lengths ahead of this group. So my question is this 88 car going to be a factor in the closing laps of this race? Will this allow the 7 car to make the move on the 42? Will there possibly be some retaliation coming to 1 to go? Who knows? It really depends on what this 88 has planned for these leaders right here. If he's going to move or if he's going to make some contact as they come out of turn number 4. The 88 car will go up high. The 42 is able to clear. The 7 car is able to clear. 88 car tucks back in the line. Here they come through the tri-oval. 1 lap here to go at Talladega.
Yes, we bring you the last lap presented by Textron Aviation. This could be the make it or break it for the 7 car. It seems like the 88 car is going to fall in the draft. Maybe he could use that 88 car to get by the 42, but it's going to be hard. And I'm assuming that's what the 88 wants, just wants to knock that 42 off the top of the leaderboards. They're going to go together. The 88 is going to push the 7. He's going to dive it down low. Not going to be able to make the move yet. Still got time, but is it enough time? As they're coming down into 3 and 4, the 42 still leading, the 7 trailing, the 88 trying to help out the 7. Is it going to be enough draft? 42 still hanging on to the bottom. As they come down the tri-oval, I don't think the 7 is going to have the time. And the 42 is going to go 4 in a row at Talladega.
Holy. The only driver knowing going into Kansas that he is safe. Is this going to be a possible 2015 moment where we had Joey Logano win 3 races back to back in stage 2, knowing he was the only driver safe at stage 2, with Bobby here, who's won 4 in a row, he can make it 5 in a row at Kansas, and he could be the only driver knowing he's safe through the entire round of 12, going into the round of 8, as Bobby here picks up his 4th win in a row, as the 7 car finishes 2nd, the 9 car will finish 3rd, the 8 car will finish 4th, the 43 will finish 5th, and the number 88 will finish 6th, 1 lap down here. And the only cars to win stages for today's race was the 42 and the 88. So interesting, as the 42 car had the fastest lap of the race with a 48.460.
I think we're going to go down here and have a chat with our race winner, and then I would also like to get in contact with the 7 and the 43. Let's go down there now. Bobby, Brent up in the booth. You got a copy here, bud? How's it going, man? 4 in a row, just domination. Led the most laps. Had the car to beat. Looked like the 43 was trying to spoil it there for you a little bit. Ended up getting some contact with the 7 car. 7 was not able to make it work.
Oh man, I can't even believe this. 4 in a row. Oh my God, I was not expecting that whatsoever. I almost ran out of gas. Everything that could have happened went wrong on stage 2. And then that big accident that happened in 3. The rule that we have is that no cars are allowed to have a caution for the first 2 laps. And that happened, and I tried to make an executive decision, but I had to follow the rules on that.
Yeah, and it seems that another car we noticed that happened to be pretty good for the first half of the race was the 88 car. Seemed to be you and him work together very well. He just could not stay out of trouble with those guys in the back late in the race, and it costed him a chance at the win as well as a top 3 finish.
Right. I seen that, and I feel bad for his team. I mean, he was really high strung on that, getting that that stage 1 win. And as for the 43, I can't thank him enough for the push that he gave me almost the whole entire race. I mean, that was incredible. And out of the blue, the 7 car comes rolling in. I mean, that was intense. I thought for sure I was going to lose that race to the 7 when I when I lapped the 88, because those two started hooking up and I could see it in my mirror.
Yeah, it looked like the 7 was trying to get something going there, but just didn't have enough time. Well, we want to congratulate you on your 4th win in a row. The dominance was amazing today. Just want to get your feedback, see how it went. Obviously, you had a great race. You got it done 4 in a row. You're into the next round. I think we're going to go down there and talk to Humpty and get his view on things.
Technical difficulties right there with those guys that finished. And I hope everyone enjoyed a solid race here at Talladega Superspeedway. This is your commentator, along with my co-host Brent. We are signing off after a fabulous race here.
Yep. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. We'll see you next week.